Hi, investigators. Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy, and I've got feedback. Oh dear! What a great start, Mike. This is a professional program. Better. No feedback. Let's get this show on the. So what's been happening this week? I've still got feedback. Oh dear. Boy, oh boy. Okay. Get rid of the Colin. G'day, Colin. Good to see you, mate. Getting in. All right, people. This week in investigations, let's have a look at some of the news. It's been reported in the press that bikies are moving into money laundering with art fraud. So that's not new. That's very common. All the best art in the world has been stolen. The Nazis protected it. The Catholic Church are pretty good at it too. So that's something that's come out this week. G'day, Chantel. Good to see you. So I was actually involved in one of the largest art frauds in Australia at this location with that painting, with that art restorer. Can't say I enjoyed it, but art fraud is something that you, as a licensed investigator, may undertake. Risk and security management, big supporters of the Australian Security Academy, and through their branch trademark investigation, have had a big thing with $500,000 worth of fake goods seized by the police in Sydney. And you can look it up on LinkedIn, it's all there. And this is what happened. The Chester Hill man was charged with only dealing in the proceeds of crime, and he was possessing imported goods with false trademarks, specifically designer label handbags. He was found with $60,000 worth of cash, a gel blasted firearm, and it didn't have approved storage, and he wouldn't help them with their digital evidence. So good work by the team at Risk and Security Management through trademark investigations. It's all on LinkedIn. You can go and type in security and risk management and see it. What is really interesting about this, though, you will conduct trademark investigations. You'll be going to the market on Sunday. You'll buy yourself a nice designer label Kim Kardashian handbag, just like those fake ones. And then you will supply it to the actual owners of the trademark Kim Kardashian with the $15 receipt, and they will take action just like the police did in Risk and Security anonymous case. So that's quite an interesting insight into what you're going to be doing as a private investigator. It's undercover work in the beginning, but when you go through in court, if you have to, like this one will, they'll know who you are. That'll blow your cover. You'll have to move on to another market. Okay. I think I'm back. There's still. Oh boy, what a day. Great day, Mike. So, people, that was risk and security management. New book out about stalking. This is the author. You can get a copy of her book called Obsession. Her name's Nicole Madigan, and that's a picture of her there. You can look her up. Hitting the headlines today, Sophie Monk has been stalked by a guy that thought he was talking to her on social networking. He's married with 2 kids. Then he went round to her house with the road. So he's embarrassed, said the police treated him like a criminal. God. Other news, Lauren Cranston, the daughter of the former tax commissioner, has been jailed for tax fraud. So that's an interesting one that's come out in the news this week. Let's have a look at some jobs. Okay. Code of conduct investigators required at Horizon 1. So you'll be doing bullying, harassment, racial discrimination, sexual harassment, inappropriate use of power, inappropriate conduct, inappropriate use of resources, inappropriate use, application of process, policy and procedure. So that's a great opportunity at Horizon 1. RACQ in Queensland are looking for an investigator. You'll be doing general insurance investigations, as we discussed today in Investigations UNi, where our students looked at liability claims and 14 slides of my life in liability investigations to help them understand what they're going to be investigating. So that's what RACQ do, apart from motor vehicle accident and stolen motor vehicle. And we have a liability claims executive wanted in Melbourne. So how's that for coincidence? They'll pay you $120,000 if you're an investigator, a licensed investigator down there, to do what we just talked about at Investigations UNi in 14 slides, and people have a total and full understanding of it. So that's coincidental, and that came up today. Comcare, the insurer of the public service federally, they've got an investigation role in just about every capital city. This one says Adelaide, but it's the same jobs available in Brisbane, Perth, Hobart, Melbourne and Sydney. So something to look forward to. This is a beauty. I like this one. If you want to be an inspector, you can be a fruit fly inspector at the Riverina. You've got to have the ability to walk long distances and communicate with people. and look for fruit flies, which are completely different from butterflies or dragonflies. You're only going to be looking for fruit flies. If you don't like the idea of that, then in the arena, there's a risk and governance officer wanted at the Mildura Health Fund. So you can apply your investigations experience there and help them with their risk and compliance. Over in Perth, they're looking for a workplace investigator. Now, they don't think you have to be licensed. I would not risk that, but that's available. All these jobs are available on our Facebook page, so you can see it there. RSPCA in Brisbane are after an inspector, and the Queensland Racing Integrity Commission are looking for an investigator in Queensland. That's a bit of an oxymoron. It sounds like police intelligence, doesn't it? Racing integrity, police intelligence. Sorry, ex-police officers. Okay, going back to our news. This is really strange. Our current affair came out this week and said James Cook University were issuing qualifications to students who studied courses that were not accredited. So there's been class action taken by 18 of those students, and this is their lawyer. He's never heard of it. He found it to be very strange. So this is serious stuff. 2 years of study down the drain because these guys did an unaccredited course. Now, the university is saying, well, it's accredited now, but that's no good for the guys that got their accreditation, that got their qualification before the accreditation. So this is what's happened in loss adjusting through the ANZ in diploma of loss adjusting for the last 22 years. And that matter is going to be coming to a conclusion before the end of this year. When the James Cook one goes, I don't know. That'll drag on for a couple of years yet. We talked last week about the murder of the man on the right. The lady on the left is the daughter of the two alleged murderers. There's an issue with a missing murder weapon. Now, the person who has got the best knowledge of that weapon being used in a place called Little Fine Raccoon, that person has dementia and can't help police with anything that possibly could be used in evidence. Now, last week I said that the area where this firearm was used has a population of 30 in the winter and 300,000 in the summer. Now, I was wrong there. It's 30,000 in the summer in the Great Lakes district of Tasmania. So the regular population of Little Pine Lagoon was probably 3 per residents. Then that goes up to about 80 residents with shacks in summertime. Very isolated area. The main witness to the firearm has dementia. There has to be other witnesses. How do you find other witnesses to this? Well, it's a fishing area. The reason that there is trout fishing. Now, they have boats, and they would have barbecues, they would have social occasions in the summertime, catch-ups, that sort of thing. Some of them may be Tasmanian fishing clubs. And this is where the key to finding other witnesses who may know about that .22 rifle firearm, that it was used in the area. Because the people that own shacks there, every year in February, they dress up like old fishermen and go fishing with cane fly rods, not fiberglass. It's a tradition they have. And the person that wins the competition wins a bottle of alcohol. It's scotch. But they have a lot of fun. They dress up, they put a tie on, tweed jacket, nice caps, and off they go and go fishing for the day, and they have a little barbecue that night. Now, I can just about guarantee that the witness picture is in this photo. Someone from Little Pine knows several other people in this photo. Some of them will be, and they will or may have used that missing firearm at Little Pine, where it's been denied it was there in the police planted evidence. So you can't go and Pine Lagoon because it's empty. These people, farmers, doctors, tradespeople, nurses, they might be fruit pickers, who knows? But they don't live. They have shacks, and they meet up the day every year, and they might stay there for over Christmas. There's going to be 2 or 3 other witnesses to that firearm in this photo. Now, where did that photo come from? It comes from the Fly Fishers Club of Tasmania, who put it online. Now, whoever's may know people in that photograph, and that's a starting point for the police to go and confirm if there are other witnesses and what their knowledge of that missing .22 rifle or the use of it by who at Little Pine Lagoon. It wasn't used there for the murder. It was used at Campbelltown, allegedly, because bullet casings matching that .22 rifle were found at Little Pine Lagoon at a shack owned by the father-in-law of one of the alleged murderers. Now, further complicating this murder is it came out this week in the trial that the 2 suspects who are the parents of the lady on the left are the alleged suspects. They said they were in Campbelltown that day where the man on the right was murdered. That's what they said. Now, the police confronted them with their telephone records, and on their telephone records, they made phone calls from Campbelltown that day, which is very interesting because that wasn't there unless someone else had their phone. They quickly changed their story and said, "Oh, we drove through. We were getting KFC from Launceston." Well, they may have done. I don't know. It's a bit hard to go back to KFC 14 years later and say, what about these people who were here on this day, date, and time? There's not going to be any CCTV kept for that period of time. So that's a bit difficult. But let's have a look where they said they were and where they were on their phone records. The big arrow on the middle left, the blue arrow, that's where they were. The blue circle on the right is 51 minutes drive away on a good drive with no fog or ice or rain. It's a distance of 68 kilometres. They said they were where the circle is. That's where they claimed to be. Their phone records where the arrow, right at Campbelltown, where the murder happened. That was just outside Campbelltown. It wasn't in Main Street, Campbelltown. So this is getting pretty serious, this murder trial. So if I was the police and I was looking for more information, that would be my first call. And I'd be looking to identify these and ask them what they know. Now, the police may have already done that. I'm sure they probably have. They're very thorough police in Tasmania. So that's just an interesting thing that's come out this week. On Investigations UNi May, we had 2 programs. Just got to turn So over on our investigation, we had two programs. First one was this one. This was for government investigations. Last week we had planning the investigation for private investigators. This week we had planning the investigation for government investigators. So we looked at various options. Surveillance, speaking to people who may be in the area, interviews, checking who had the keys, that sort of thing. They're the sort of things that we discussed during that program. They're very similar to private investigator, but from government investigation with an investigation matrix at the end. In that presentation, I gave our students the three-step process to ensuring a complete investigation. If you're an Australian Security Academy student, you should be watching that investigation. If you can't access it, get in touch with me. Okay? You've got my email address. You can Google the Australian Security Academy. It's very important if you're a government investigator, you see that presentation. One of the issues that came out today from the other presentation at Investigations Uni was one we had on this show, and it talked about a lady that was mauled to death by 3 dogs in Maryborough. And this, if the place was insured and the owner of the dog was insured, the lady's heirs or her estate could have sued both those places for her lost future income, for a medical attention, that sort of thing. Now, they weren't insured. They were what we call impecunious. Got that written down here. I did have that written down there somewhere. Impecunious means they have little money. So that's how they were. The man confessed to it. That's the owner of the dog. He cooperated with police all the way through. It was a tragic situation. 3 dogs mauled that lady to death. It wasn't the owner of the dog's house. He was storing the dogs there while the government inspected his property, which he rents from them, where he's not allowed to have dogs. So that came out this week in the news, end of that investigation. So it's been the afternoon here at the Australian Security Academy with 2 episodes of Investigations Uni and me stuffing up completely Spy Curious for today. Go down in history as a complete stuff up by Mike Evans. Oh dear, dear. Don't forget all those job vacancies that you saw today. This is really important. This is where you go. So you go to this Facebook page, the Australian Private Investigator Corporate and Government Investigator Jobs page, and you'll see those job vacancies there. If you want to see where they're advertised, just cut and paste a paragraph out of it, and it'll come up on the internet. Like you know how to do all your research. There's a couple of really good jobs there today. If you're in Queensland, that's a brilliant opportunity of RACQ. If you're in Melbourne, liability claims is what we discussed today. An investigation duty is excellent. And if you want a real holiday job, you can become fruit flies. It's a very important job being a fruit fly picker. Really, really important. So we're not putting that down. So it's been a big week. Art fraud. You'll see it in the headlines and bikies investing in art. They mentioned about one art dealer who was given $1 million by a bikie in to buy art. They left bags of cash outside his house. He took the money and he ran. He was in prison for 5 years for it. Wouldn't have been a comfortable time. He'd be looking over his shoulder all the time. So artists don't mind departing with their work. They sell it. They can't have it both ways and hang on to it. What they don't want is having it stolen. And the people that steal it from them are close to them. They could be workers, cleaners, restorers. They know the value of art. And if you look it up, there's been some great red, white lit papers. And there's been all sorts of drama with art fraud in Australia. You don't often think about it. The artist usually goes directly to a private investigator to do it without getting the police involved. Police involved, all the publicity, that sort of thing. When you're looking for lost art that's valuable enough to be paid for an investigator to find, you are going to be charging in excess of $30,000 for that investigation. Think about that. This guy, he reckoned that was stolen from him was worth $50 million. So if it's real, probably would be worth that. Nobody believes it. It's his story, okay? But it's a corporate investigation role that you will have opportunity to specialise if you market yourself as a private investigator capable of doing it. So keep that in mind. I've interviewed lots of investigators that have worked for talented, globally famous Australian artists. And that includes Aboriginal artists. People make fake art and copies. So great line of work if you can get it. Okay. Been a very busy week. Look out for this lady's book about being stalked. That's what it's called. Sophie Monk's been stalked this week. The guy went to court for her, right? It happens. This lady, for tax fraud, is in jail for 8 years. 8 years. Okay, we all pay our tax. It's difficult. She ripped us off. Thank you, legal system. I'm Mike Evans, the Australian Security Academy. Thanks for watching Spy Curious. I'll be back again next week without the double sound in my ears. What we're doing, we're celebrating our industry and the people in it. So at our introduction and our outro each week, we'll include a little video about what's about what we do. There are a lot of people within the industry that put it down. You're not one of them. You're watching this, okay? So we're celebrating beginning and end every Thanks, EA. Thanks, Zara. Glad you enjoyed it. And we'll go out the only way I know how, and I love doing this. It's called Cold Eyes. Recommend you watch.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.
Our mission is complete. In of Spy Curious. I'm Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy, who stuffed that up amazingly. I'll see you next week for Investigations Uni and Spy Curious. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you then. Bye.